All right, at long last, we are back, guys. After a few weeks of no This Week in Crypto, we're finally back to discuss markets, see how the on-chain and social elements of what's going on in this sector are impacting prices and what is likely to come based on the backtesting and historical patterns that we've seen uh, based on what is going on right now. And boy, it's been a wild month. August has been a month of teasing, a month of kind of getting people's hopes up only to be let down. Um, Also surprising on the low end, where a lot of people thought we were really plummeting to doomsday levels once again. And I think many were surprised when we actually jumped back above 60K temporarily. It was only a few weeks ago when we were in the 49Ks. And we also saw, I believe, as high as about 65 very recently. So we're kind of ranging all over the place at the moment. And while all of this has been going on, as you see from the title and thumbnail of this video, we've really been seeing big movement from whales and sharks. And this is a tale as old as time, really. There are so many moments, especially when markets get boring or when markets get scary for the small traders, that the big time institutionals out there make their money and they scoop up coins while everyone suddenly decides that the intrinsic value of crypto is not what it was, when Bitcoin was above 70K in March. And the reality is nothing has changed, right? The technology is still what it is. Bitcoin and crypto still provides a service that monetary fiat does not. And whales and sharks have kind of realized that. And whether prices move down or not, they're in it for the long run. Arguably, that's because they can afford to see some of the volatility and see their portfolios drop 20, 30, 40, 50% and still be able to afford their lifestyle. Many smaller recreational traders don't have that luxury. So it makes sense sometimes when the smaller retail traders out there let go of their coins. They have a life that they need to pay for. And it's scary. It's very scary when you see prices plummet. And this has been a down week. I'll get to that in just a moment. But remember these cycles that we usually see in crypto. And that is this pattern is very, very familiar to people who have been in crypto for maybe over a year. I know that 2024 has been mostly a very good year so far. So it's been kind of a disappointment since March, where we've seen prices move down, but we're still up significantly on the year because of what happened in those first 3 months. So as we turn the calendar into the final 4 months of the year here, the next time we talk will be well into September already. We need to remember that whales and sharks are very much controlling the markets as much, if not even more, than they ever had. And the supply is being held greatly by those who have 10 or more Bitcoin, let alone 100 or let alone 1,000 or more Bitcoin. So with all of this said, this has been a ranging period that is just a cookie cutter mold of what we've seen in crypto for a very long time. And I'm excited to talk about it and see where we go from here based on the all too familiar pattern that has crept back into crypto. So where are we at now? By the way, Maxim, are you here with us yet, my friend?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Welcome. I hope you enjoyed my monologue. How's life with you?
What did you say? Enjoyed what?
I said I hope you enjoyed my monologue about crypto psychology.
I did. Even though I maybe missed the initial 1 or 2 minutes, but good, yeah.
That part wasn't
Good.
important. Don't worry.
As you said, we having also end of summer here, very warm, very hot. And I might not only not agree with one thing is you mentioned overall
Please.
positive 2024. It was not the case for all coins the same. It's probably on my memory the first time when there is quite obvious differentiator between majors, some good quality but altcoins, and some random, really like lottery meme coins. It's a kind of new setup. Some of the meme coins or platform running for them, like Solana, it used to be now Oton, doing very well, but you cannot guess which one is doing well. Where
Sure.
Ethereum, who everyone believed and expected, behave perfectly well because of ETF acceptance, is not doing it, which is now a little bit in hindsight, of course, but still not surprising if we deal with behavior analytics for a long time. Typically happens often. Everyone expected and doesn't come true, or at least it doesn't come true in the time when you expect it. But still, it's quite I think it's very difficult time now for people who are in crypto for, let's say, 2 years or 1 or 2 years. Might be a very difficult time. What if you invest in something which did not give anything much, and you just see this meme coins here and there growing in value rapidly, so you join this community, try to follow, only to realize that 98% of meme coins not going anywhere. You just lose money.
Yeah.
It might be hard. And then you come back to majors and they don't doing anything. So the word positive, it's a kind of subjective here. For some, maybe. For some, maybe not. Correct?
Yeah, I think that's a good summary. And not everyone can afford to have an investment not work out for an entire year. March was a very long time ago, and almost every asset out there is down over the past 5 months. Even though we've had our share of rebounds and bounces and things to get people excited again, ultimately, mid-March was the ultimate party in crypto, and we're still chasing losses for the most part for anyone that's jumped into crypto over the past 5-ish months or so. So here in the last week,
I mean, if I'm just opening, I'm not sharing, but I'm open on my screen. So if I look, let's say 1 year, from the last year, whatever, July, August. So, okay, I see Ton did really good 10x. Okay, well, now 5x because of correction. Now Solana did great. Yeah, also the same from approximately 30, 40, almost 10x. Of course, very few people catch it, if any, but just to mention a number. Now, when I look at Ethereum, okay, it was 2000. Now it almost grew to 4, fall down to 2.5. Yeah. Bitcoin a bit better, so it was 28, 30,000. It grow like at least 2x or 2.5, but now also coming down. Yeah, and then if you look, if you go on the way down, I liked Curve because of drama and negative sentiment is not doing well. I must admit, whatever we put there, it's kind of underwater. So luckily we compensated, of course, with Ethereum, and then some of this selling higher buy and low still as an experience and result of analysis. You see, it might be like quite painful. ENS, okay, is good. I regret exiting it a bit earlier. Still, it performed very well. But still, now when I look, like it was a whole year. I remember it was we did it before 10 entered, maybe 8. So it must have been possible for others too. Let's say 8 to 10 entry range. And then I think we exited like 16, 17, and it went all the way down up to 26 or even 30. Now it's back to 17. So And looking at the price action, I just can imagine how many people entered above 20 to 25, underwater again. And it's half a year. Maker was good. Similar story. We entered good, but exited a bit early. Seems to be my pattern, which saves our long term, because if we exit a bit early or a bit, not on the top in Ethereum or any major holdings, it's good. But as experience, I tend to exit a little bit earlier.
Well, if you're not the top whale, almost every move we make is going to be a little bit early, because they're the ones who hit the precise tops and bottoms, and they create them.
Yeah, take a Maker maybe 1 year. Is it 1 year?
Yeah, this is 1 year of Maker.
Yeah, so the same. It's almost back. It's almost like really many coins. They're back to the level where they got attention, traction, and they're back there. I remember our exit was maybe 1.6, 1.5 on Maker, so it's almost back there. Maybe I can buy it again. If it went all the way up to 4,000, I couldn't imagine. Still, it's there. So, and accumulation was around, I think, around 700 or 800, and some people like us maybe accumulate around 1,000. I don't know if they rallied up the up, but again, there was a lot of people buying around 3,000, maybe even above. Now it's back to 118. There is quite some pain. And I don't even say buy a 5, we're lucky. Well, this is sometimes you need luck. Somehow I enter it and then we exit it, and without thinking much, I didn't come back. And now it looks like we were indeed lucky. And any coin I'm looking to, it's a very painful picture, which brings me to the next thought. If there is accumulating pain, the market, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, but has a tendency to just to squeeze and make even more pain. So we might be entering into the time when really capitulations and angriness and accusation will start. As a matter of fact, I think we're already in this phase. I just read how people start criticizing the Ethereum Foundation and Vitalik.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were placing them as the gods on the top now. Yeah. So we're based on the sentiment, we're quite close to the bottom, I would say. But if someone wants to take risk, just wait till it's eclipse this hatred and sarcasm and all bad meanings, opinions on people who they loved just a half year ago. Yeah, all this. I think now, if tone drops to 4, and people blame Durov, now they're kind of supporting him, free Durov, which is of course good from human point of view. But when you analyze the market, they should hate him, because I don't know what, because all ton supply accumulated in few hands, and now we both believing that it's a cool platform, right, for freedom. But you, Durov, you just distributed all coins among your friends and investors. When we see these messages, it doesn't matter if it's true or not, then they're around the bottom. We don't see them yet. Yeah, free Durov, it's still a kind of narrative. It should flip. Hate Durov. He made us suffer with our investment, and now look at Ton at 4, and maybe it will become 1 again. And ideally, of course, some of those who accumulated or got coin cheap. I don't remember all the name of big companies or investors who were involved. When we see them dumping, it's very good. So we're not far, I think, from it, but you never know. It might happen like tomorrow, might happen next week, might happen next month. I don't know. But I do expect, if we want to flip to bullish again, this pain coming out on the surface should be very obvious. And I think we're getting there. Okay, so kind of didn't expect I will give this talk, but okay.
No, I love it. I agree with essentially everything you've said. We're in a weird counterintuitive time where whales are scooping up coins, which is almost always a good thing for future price movement, but it's also happening while the general sentiment doesn't appear to quite reflect as much pain as you would think from this slide that we've had over the past 7-8 weeks or so, especially. And until we start to see the crowd start to, turn on Durov, start to, say that every coin out there is a scam, we arguably can be continuing to slide just a little bit more. And I can anticipate that we're going to have some choppy roads and a lot of indecision from traders. This is one of the trickiest times in crypto when we're kind of chopping, testing support levels, and every bounce seems to get smashed before it can really turn into any sort of semblance of a rally. So I'll be looking to a lot of metrics here today to try to decipher, at least in the short to midterm, what the next steps likely are to be. But as many of you have watched these streams in the past, we aren't here to give investment advice because we're not fortune tellers and we're not billionaire whales ourselves. We are here
No
just
way.
to.
And we make sometimes mistakes too, and
Oh yeah.
way easily to acknowledge it. Because we do believe everyone does, so there's no problem. I mean, but I do think we are doing quite well in looking into market from trying to look always from different angle. Yeah, it doesn't automatically mean you will always be right, but you will be right at important points of time more often than the others. So always try to be different markets. When you are the same like others, it's very dangerous.
Totally. Yeah, by definition, most of our metrics are of the counter trader nature. So, I mean, we really are trying to find ways to go against the grain, not just because we enjoy it, but because that tends to be the correct way to trade. And history has shown that going against the crowd narrative at any time is almost always the most profitable. So you'll see that if you're brand new to Santiment and watching this for the first time. Most of our metrics are based on crowd behavior and showing what not to do, and whale behavior and showing how the money tends to flow toward what they want to happen. So with all that said, there's definitely plenty of things we can get into, and I want to make sure we use our remaining 40-ish minutes very valuable here, or very efficiently here.
And Brian, maybe just as a suggestion, maybe we can spend today more time on social and metrics, as I do believe our team have improved, delivered quite a few things, and we will actually be delivering for the next weeks and months. So it's good to reposition ourselves again, that we have quite a lot of power on social media, and it's not so obvious sometimes how to use them, which is good. I mean, if it's not obvious, it means not obvious for many people outside. So you might be killing trades or investment. The moment something becomes too obvious, well, okay, then everyone can use it.
Yeah, I agree. Jumping into the social metrics was kind of my plan anyways. I think not only have we made a lot of improvements to our social trends platform, but where we are in the markets, it's definitely being more controlled by the crowd than usual right now. So that is where I recommend our community really focuses their time and effort when it comes to making their trading decisions. And just to recap, I mean, we mentioned Toncoin, one of the biggest losers among the top 100 here, down 17.5%. Matic has also been struggling. I'll actually be releasing an article very shortly about what's going on here, down 20% there. Uniswap down 15, BitTensor down 19, and Fellas, one of the new entries into the top 100, took a step back over the past week, down 23%. Bitcoin sitting here at 59.2K, down 2.7%, and Ethereum is flirting with dropping and rising back above 2,500 repeatedly right now, but it's down almost 5% over the past week. So, and I should also mention volume is also down. So there tends to be a little bit of passivity right now and indifference and fear of making the wrong decisions. That's generally what happens when you see shrinking volume over time. So look for that as well, because this is kind of a form of FUD. When there's just less volume going on, it's a sign that the confidence is drying up quickly among retail traders. So on to the social end of things. We'll jump right into it. The mentions of high, I guess I should say, resistance levels and low support levels. This is one of my increasingly favorite ways to analyze how the sentiment is looking at any given time. And as of now, it's especially notable to see that the mentions of any round number between 70K to 75K are shrinking significantly, which makes sense. We're not really anywhere near that right now in terms of Bitcoin's price. But
Brian,
when it is,
by the way, can you extend it to also include, I think, 100, 150, and 200 is what people also mention on the upside?
Yeah, we'll make it a separate table really quick. So just anywhere
you can include it also there, or you separately, maybe separately is better, just to double check how much is the social volume. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
100, 150, and 200.
Okay, so just the big round numbers.
Yes.
See how that looks here. It'll show up in yellow. Put it on shared axis.
Quite a lot.
Yeah, it's actually, we're seeing more of those mentions than the smaller numbers, which is interesting. I do wonder if other assets and sectors are getting looped in here, though, because the thing about these numbers is they're almost always referencing Bitcoin's price.
Yes.
But 100, 150, 100, that could be anything in the investing world. But regardless, I do see that we did see a bit of a jump toward the end of the month, and it's falling off today, for what that's worth. I don't know. Do you gather anything from this, Maxim?
I just remember whenever I read conversations and people trying to convince each other that it's no problem, we will recover, or brace yourself, we're going to all-time high. They mention 100, sometimes 200 and 250. It just was but I never did the research actually. Now when you bring this chart, that's why I'm asking, say, oh, actually, we'll to look into it. But this big red spike at the bottom, that's cool. That really looks like a very good bottom indicator. My goodness.
Yeah, I mean, we can back it up to the past year and take a look at the mentions of 70 to 75K too. You can see how precisely they turned out with the top, which many of you will say, well, yeah, that's what Bitcoin's price was. It was 70 to 75K. Well, there were plenty of times where we weren't quite seeing 70 to 75K, like in mid-June. You can see all of this optimism and the crowd saying, oh, it's only a matter of time. We're going to get right back to that all-time high. And then it never happens, right? And then we go down here where Bitcoin isn't quite near 50K, but everyone is already dreading 50K. And because of all that dread, we see a quick bounce. So you can see how often the crowd tends to get it wrong. And that's precisely why we love looking at metrics like this. This isn't the end all be all chart, but I believe it's a very good indicator. If you just look at whatever the current price is, you go some round numbers that are maybe 15 to 20% higher or 15 to 20% lower than the current price. And you'll also often find precise bottoms when everyone starts getting interested in price and believing that they are the fortune tellers to know exactly when it is to start buying again or start selling again. They almost cause those tops and bottoms to the hour. It's pretty impressive how this works out. And you can see it's kind of scattered across different platforms, especially Reddit. Say what you will about Reddit. I think it's a place where there are a lot of educated theories and maybe some smarter minds than some of the other platforms. But at the same time, there's a little more arrogance that comes with that sometimes. And it's a place where people are almost defiant with their opinions. But it goes across the board. Twitter's the same way. See how they called 50 to 55K and then all of a sudden it bounces and they get fooled. 4chan was really going nuts with the 70 to 75K and the euphoria, and then we see a quick top there. And it's even evident on Bitcoin Talk and our new addition here, Farcaster. So I recommend not just looking at the overall charts when you check out any custom searches, but break them down by social platform, and you might find some very interesting observations there. Other things on the social end. So let's back it up to the main social trends platform here. Being a little on the slow side at the moment. There we go. So in terms of trending words, we have something related to Velo Labs called Office Hour 30. Users can ask questions to the COO. So this was essentially just an AMA. The lawsuit was a pretty big deal. I just saw a post yesterday it was when I was going to bed, maybe 8 to 9 hours ago. Elon Musk won his case regarding the manipulation of Dogecoin and the accusations that he was receiving from that. The district court ruled that there's no reasonable investor that could rely on his tweets regarding Dogecoin for investment decisions. And regardless of what you say, I don't often give my opinion. I'd prefer to just write the news, or state the news. I think in this case, this is actually a win for crypto. Even if you don't like Musk, which I know many don't, this is essentially a judge declaring that being able to give your opinion via Twitter is not a binding way of indicating that you are manipulating the price of something. And I think that would actually be devastating if the judge felt that, his tweets and opinions that he was giving were a violation of, freedom of speech, really. So I think that's kind of the narrative that most people are giving, even people who don't like Elon Musk. I think they see this as the right choice. But again, give your opinion in the comments if you see it differently. But this has been a big driver over the past 8 to 10 hours. It's getting a lot of traction right now, as it should. Snoofy advocating for the listing of a crypto asset named Snoofy, referring to it as the Reddit dog. You get the idea. I won't go through all 10 of these, but these are always going to be very important topics that are driving markets and showing where social interest is right now. Now, if we jump to trending coins, we see that pork is actually the top trending asset. And this is a classic case where it's a pretty obscure altcoin that is suddenly pumping, even though markets are flat right now. There's a bearish summary here, perceived lack of value, a lot of profit taking, market sentiment, things like that. And there's also a bullish summary that explains why pork has been pumping in the first place. Always beware of users suddenly just discussing arbitrary price levels like 1776 and 1790. As we just showed in that previous example, when the crowd starts getting excited and declaring that a random asset is going to go to X price, it almost never actually does go to X price.
And Ryan, this is so important that I really want us a little bit stop here.
Yeah.
And double down on it. As I'm sharing how I myself do an analysis, and this is what you just showed. Any coin coming on the first, even second and third place, and you see that AI analysis identified people are talking about specific price levels, and you compare it to the current price, and it's ridiculous. Yeah, like 2 times or 3 times higher from the current level. It's a very strong top indicator, because of in the mind of in the crowd mind, it has to be in the many messages, otherwise it wouldn't catch up. They're so convinced for whatever reason, or they're trying to convince others, sometimes even manipulating others to believe into it. This is the price where we go, and people are, me including, were kind of greedy by nature. On different level, of course, but still. So, and you see in front of your eyes, and they make a story in the narrative on purpose or not on purpose, and they tell you the price, it's very likely will be 3 times higher. It's a very dangerous situation. So be careful with it and or use it to your advantage. If, for instance, now I'm just looking into the chart, or now we're breaking down indeed, as just discussed. You see now Ethereum 2.4, Bitcoin already breaking 58,500. Now, when the conversations now come, Bitcoin will be 55,000, yeah, or even 50, yeah, like 50. And Ethereum will be definitely below 2,000, 1.6, 1.8. It goes in this direction too. So if very bearish expectation, if even the current level 2.4 for Ethereum or 2,450. But people already thinking or convincing or talking or manipulating others to believe it will be 1.8. That can be a very strong bearish or bottom indicator too. Yeah. I wanted to stress this mentions of specific price level, which are far away from the current price. It's very important. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I don't know this POC. I heard about it, but of course I'm not into this kind of coins. What is the current price? Why is they like so excited? I think
let's take a look.
You can press I. Okay, there was.
So pork, let's zoom in a little bit here. Look at the last month. Pork is currently at 0.00001661. So super micro coin at the moment.
So very Memecoin. Okay. So whatever they mean with this price now, and we need to translate it to the reality, what they mean with this price. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know dogs is right up there as an equally fascinating meme coin right now that a lot of people have been focused on. And it's actually part of our social narratives. Our data scientist informed me that it's been getting significant traction, not just in the past day, but all week long.
Was discussed everywhere, literally.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what I was reading, I saw it everywhere. Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's not actually showing the same kind of price performance as pork right now. Its big run up was a few days back, not happening in real time the way pork is. But
it dropped maybe 2 days ago, or it started to drop because then Ton blockchain was taking a rest, not working for some time. Yeah.
So looking at the price, it kind of peaked on the 28th.
To make a no. I mean the candle to be 1 hour.
It only goes to 2. Let me just switch the line.
So 2 hours minimum. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it this way. So based on the hourly time scale, it's down about 21.5% over the past couple of days.
Yeah, and show on top of it social dominance, or yeah.
Yeah, so we can see whether we're getting close to a bottom, which is
okay.
Interesting.
So
not too much.
I wonder how much on dominance on top was it?
So we got up to about 8.5% social dominance here on August 28th.
I usually say that any coin which can break 5 or 6% of dominance in the danger zone, because typically 8% is reserved for number 2 coin most of the time in Ethereum, sometimes Solana. And if you break into this territory, it means really everyone is talking about it, or majority of crypto, and it's very dangerous zone. Like 8% is very dangerous.
Yeah, and that theory is backed up here, Maxim. You can see a lot of moments where it got above this 5% line and immediately topped out.
And as I said, that using social data is not trivial. You see, we're kind of sharing the way how we do it, and I don't think it's written so clearly in documentation. But once you found your way and you know how to apply dominance, okay, is it getting above critical level of discussion now? Are people discussing specific price ranges which are far away from a current one? Or when they build the top, quite often it wasn't the case in doc, but docs. But it happens, I think, if we look into some other coins. I don't remember if we have some examples prepared. You see dominance start diverging, like coin keep pushing up, but the crowd attention. It was it Ren? We discussed yesterday something.
Well, we just made a quick video yesterday about Shiba
Okay.
Inu, actually.
So
Use that.
there is a lot you can take from social data if you really want to make quite clean calls close to the top. And this three use cases actually exactly as I just said. Mention of price levels far away from current one. It's already very sane. Strong dominance of the coin or specific coin or a specific topic. Above 5% already, you need to be very careful, and 8% it's mostly very dangerous zone. And then dominance, like social dominance, start diverging on the increasing price. Dominance falling, it means mind of the crypto traders moved somewhere else, and it moves always somewhere else. So don't buy the top. If you want people talking around, in the reality they moved somewhere else already. Yeah. Was it?
Yeah, and especially with the Memecoin craze, this is a good reminder that they're perfect candidates for identifying how social dominance and just the crowd narratives can impact the price, because they're so speculative driven. There's very little on-chain excitement and pending partnerships with major companies. It's kind of just based on how the crowd perceives them, and that's why you see Shiba Inu here, for example, as such a great top indicator. Anytime the social dominance spikes right here, and even in a smaller microcosm, kind of right here or right here. So there's a lot of merit to identifying future price movement just from using the social narratives alone. As for a few others, I see Velo up there. We saw it associated with that trending keyword ham, which is kind of a cousin of pork, essentially. Bitcoin is always kind of trickling in and out of the top 10. So right now there's a bit of a more increased focus on it than usual. Dog ton, as we mentioned already. Dogecoin related to the Elon Musk lawsuit. And then Tether and FIO rounding out the top 10. We did do a little bit of a deep dive on Tether the other day, right? Let's see if I can quickly find it. Where did I put it? TETH. There we go. So yeah, there's a lot of new wallets being created. We were discussing that internally yesterday on a market call, and there does seem to be some notable increases in stablecoin wallet, just total amounts of new stablecoin wallets created, and that might have a major factor in where prices are going next. Generally, I like to see this because it's a potential sign that new money is coming into crypto, but it also could mean that Bitcoin and Ethereum and other wallets are getting liquidated and moving into new stablecoin wallets for the purpose of exiting crypto. Yeah. So I tend to believe the former in this case. I think it's actually a good sign, considering the if I can quickly find it, the sharks and whales, which I haven't shown yet on this call, are still moving in the right direction. So this bright green line is showing the 10 plus BTC wallets, and yeah, they've been climbing pretty significantly in terms of their overall holdings since June 6th. They've added about 33.6K, 34.2K, that is, more Bitcoin to their wallets. And especially this line, the 10 to 10K wallets, they have a pretty dramatic effect on where prices move next, and they're accumulating. So this is why I'm not too bearish, despite the crowd's defiance and indifference right now. I believe that the key stakeholders are going to keep crypto relatively propped up, even if we see some volatility and potentially dip down to the low 50Ks again. Onto social narrative, crypto narratives, that is. So this is a relatively new feature that many of you have seen and like on Santiment. And this shows some of the top more midterm topics in crypto and how they're fluctuating compared to one another. They are full of what you would expect, a little bit of an increase in bear market discussion, which I find interesting. Airdrops, always an interesting one. Ethereum here has been getting a pretty big rise in discussion due to the anger and resentment people are feeling from Vitalik selling off some of his Ethereum. GameFi is still getting a major chunk in discussion, which I find interesting. Layer 2's Memecoins starting to really climb. They're back at about, it looks like about a 3-month high in discussions. So keep that in mind as well, as people are getting bored with Bitcoin and Ethereum kind of ranging the way they are. They're jumping into, dog and pork and a lot of these other new entries, which there will always be new entries into the meme coin space, especially with Tron's new tool to allow meme coins to be churned out at the rate that they're being now. Watch meme coins as an increasing topic that may be indicative of potential tops. It's usually not a good sign when meme coin talk is taking over the crypto world. But in terms of other topics, just to quickly read off what I've been seeing, Durov's arrest is still a very big topic over the past week. Meme coins on Tron, which I just mentioned, the listing of dogs, which we went over, and then the issues between the SEC and OpenSea, which I posted about a few days ago. They were just a couple days ago the top trending topic in crypto due to significant news that the NFT marketplace received a Wells notice from the SEC. So they're the latest target from the US Securities Commission, just as we've seen XRP and Ethereum occasionally be honed in on. Keep in mind, they're usually not successful in deeming these as securities. So they tend to be bumps in the road, but at the end of the day, these lawsuits don't have as much of an impact as many initially fear when the news breaks. All right. So we're about 45 minutes in now. What do we think would be best, Maxim? Should we focus a little bit on some weighted sentiment, get right into a few altcoins? What do you think would be best?
I think yesterday when we were talking, we wanted to dive into some altcoins. We found it interesting. I think it was Ren out of nowhere, something else.
Ren and
Matter. Practical example. As on the market, we already mentioned what to look for if we want to catch the bottom. And for me, the topic is then closed. Okay, one more indicator. Remember, we have this DeFi liquidations, and it proved to be very precise indicator for pain, means reversal of the market from going down to up. But that's it. I mean, there is not much to discuss there. But practical examples, we didn't mention it, I think, for quite some time on specific coins. This could be interesting.
Yeah, let's take a look at Ren. I know we were talking about it yesterday, and the transaction volume spiked, and volume spiked a bit as well. Maybe you can give your take on the metrics you're watching for this now 567th ranked asset in crypto. Where would you like to start?
When we were talking about yesterday, it was you remember there were a few coins which were pumped by market makers, old coins from 2018 or 19, or like rare from, I don't know, 21. When did they do this NFT marketplace, which people believe is dead, and they were surprised. So how can it pump and start shorting it on exchanges? And but this is the thing. When you play against someone on exchange, market maker or part of exchange, be very careful. Rational approach doesn't work. If even it's very rational, yeah, altcoins, no revenue, losing customers on the platform, almost in irrelevance. So rationally has no value. Still, if there are people behind it with the money who pump it, they were liquidating shorts in mass, and it happened a few times. So, and I think what happened here, maybe it's in combination with Wrap BTC, kind of related. Also, very old coin when you don't know if they're still alive. And then edit waves analysis or in behavior analysis, you always know, okay, if the previous bottom for. Did we check social dominance and?
So I don't think this social dominance spike was really related to the price.
Wow.
Not that you have the answers. I'm more just curious, and maybe someone in the comments might know.